they cut me off. Obviously, you can tell now. It's clear that you can see that they're cutting me off in my videos. So when I'm talking about something, it's like it just ends like that, which I think is hard because there are people who are listening to what I'm talking about, wondering why do they keep cutting me off. It cut off on this, so I'm going to give you what they've been telling me as I go along, but this is going to be part 2 of the tactic chaos. So what I didn't realize when I was going through these chaotic moments is that they said the reason they do it is because they said I have memories of chaos or bad things that they can then trigger that emotion at a different time. So if I'm in a chaotic moment and I don't know, it creates an emotion for me, then they can trigger it again. And I'm trying to tell these people, I don't know what they're talking about. So they said they wanted to prove that I was always in this program. I was not. I was not. And that's my point. You can see there's a clear point where I'm in my 40s, things are going great, and then this happened to me, and everything fell apart. And that's part of why they're so upset, because they're saying, well, we're going to see if we can match previous times in your life with this time. There's no match. There's absolutely no match. So when I'm telling you what they're telling me, they're getting upset because they're saying, well, you know, we thought you would keep this private. Well, why would I want to keep what they're doing to me private? And I think that was part of why they did this. They said that this was a way of them targeting me and hurting me, and no one would believe me. And then when they started to believe me, it became, well, we'll try to seem like we're helping you. That's my point. That is what the chaos does. You know, years ago, someone said to me, if you're having an argument with someone, sometimes it's hard to tell who's right, who's wrong. So sometimes it makes sense to let the other person talk, because then people can tell, well, either you're involved or you're not. Clearly, I'm not involved. And by letting them talk, I've proven what they were after. The other point is I'm going to, as I go through the pages, tell you folks what they were upset about yesterday, because now it seems like they're getting upset. I think the reason they're getting upset is the chaos. The chaos doesn't just affect me, it affects them. So as I'm showing you all of these great pictures of, you know, in Cosmo, and his people just being themselves, talking about things, it's like they're beginning to see, oh, wait, I'm normal. I'm not the person who doesn't talk about my life. I'm not the person who is walking around, you know, carrying this on my shoulders and not telling people. And why that makes a difference is because it cuts down on the level of chaos. If I walked around and I'm always upset and holding things in and not expressing myself, then I would be easier to trigger. And that was part of what they wanted to happen to me. They wanted me to be, you know, to walk around, keep holding this in. I can't walk around holding this in. So, yesterday, they talked about a lot. Okay, the biggest thing that they talked about yesterday, that was the most important thing, was they said the way this was supposed to work was they were going to try to create a calendar of 49 years, 365 days. So every day they could account for what I was doing. That's insane. So they said, well, how they were going to do it was go through all of my computer records, contact people who know me, because they wanted to create AI based on my life without my permission and consent. So, to do that they were going to, they spent millions of dollars, they said, to do this. And my question to them is, how is that logical? It's not. It's illogical, but it's also what I'm talking about, chaos as a tactic. So they said, they called people and said I was going to win $1 million, and I'm on welfare. Okay, so that $1 million never came. So that's part of how they intended to get people involved. So another thing that they were talking about, let's see, they said that I was they said that I wanted to wait a minute. Well, there were so many things that they said. Oh, I'll get back to it after because I can't remember all the lies. But you know, some of the lies were like we used to do this, put pins on our jackets. So, you know, there's just so many lies that they told that it's hard for me to remember all the different things they said and how they thought they were going to hurt me. Oh, culottes. Oh, yeah, we had culottes. And then, see, a lot of fashion in this magazine was out years before. So I like that because they'll have something that, you know, we had years ago. So I'm going to talk more about what they were telling me. Let's see. Let me stay on this for a second. Oh, they said, oh, I always use drugstore makeup. Oh, yeah, I love drugstore makeup. I love drugstore makeup. They said, what else did they say? They said when I take pictures, I used to keep my mouth open. I don't have a lot of pictures with my mouth open like this, but I do have some. So that was something else they said. They said that they installed this in my apartment when I lived in the projects. Isn't that a crime? This is similar in where I live now is similar to the projects in that it's a Mitchell-Lama co-op. And so they thought I was ashamed of that. No, not only am I not ashamed of it, I always tell people. They said, oh, people didn't know where you lived. Of course they knew where I lived. Not only did I tell them, but it was in our like student directories or when I took the bus home. It was never a secret. And I think that could be what their biggest thing was. It's not that I felt it was a secret or I thought it was a bad thing. They thought it was a bad thing. And they thought, it was horrible. So when I wrote my Sassy magazine article, it happened to me. They didn't read it at the time because I didn't tell most of them that I wrote it. And after the fact, meaning now, they're trying to say, well, you were ashamed. No, I put the article up on Twitter. So if you guys want to read it, you can read it. And you'll understand. Most normal people know exactly what I mean. I'm not going to get into it on this video because this video is telling you what they've been telling me. But I think there's something in them that they feel that I should be ashamed of regular stuff. Like they said, oh, you should be ashamed because we're doing this to you. No, a victim shouldn't be shamed. But that's what I'm saying. That's part of what they do. They want to shame people. And I hate that because to be around somebody who wants you to feel ashamed of who you are and feel like you have to change who you are is another tactic. But that's part of the chaos tactic. Because when you're in a chaotic situation and you do something, you're doing it out of chaos. So it's not something that maybe you would normally do. So that's another part of the shame that they want to create, which is we're going to do these things to you so that you can feel ashamed because this is not something you would normally do. The other thing that they said, there's been so much. They said that, Oh, they said that I had an argument with my mother about something that happened. And they said that they weren't the ones who said it, or they said it, or whatever. That's my point. A lot of what happens in relationships. Oh, I'll get to that. A lot of what happens in relationships, and this is part of why I don't edit my videos, because I want you to hear the truth as it comes out of my mouth. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. And I never did. Well, you know what? That's going to be the title of this. This will be Tactics Chaos Part 2, but it's going to be, I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. I just can't. I think that could be who they are. So they said, they hate me and they think I'm evil. And I think that explains why I don't want to be around them. Who wants to be around people who hate you and think you're evil? So they said, well, you create tests for people in relationships. You know what I think it is? Because they said I said that out loud. I didn't say that out loud, which is part of what I'm telling them. Like, they're mixing all sorts of things together. What I said and what I will completely stand by. When you're around someone, you know how that person makes you feel. And if someone doesn't make you feel good about yourself, yet is still insisting on being around you, there comes a day when you look at them and you say, well, can I trust this person?